Él es Tzvi Tal, nuevo embajador de Israel en México. Y en entrevista exclusiva para Enlace Judío, Tzvi habla sobre los principales proyectos que pretende llevar a cabo durante su gestión.
Hello, Mr. Ambassador, welcome to Mexico. And first of all, thank you very much for your time.
You're welcome. Good morning.
Ambassador, on your arrival to this diplomacy, what are the main links that unite today Mexico and the State of Israel?
Well, as you might know, this is my first time in a non-European country. So I'm really discovering the links and the bonds between Israel and Mexico, and I'm quite surprised. I knew they were good, but I really feel the enormous potential that exists between both countries, between both societies, between both people. I think that we share a lot, for example, a very rich culture, pride of who we are, a national pride, I would even say patriotism. And this, of course, is a very fertile ground to enhance our relations. And a part of the existing trade and commerce relations, I see that we have also links between academia, and this is something I would like to enhance. And we can talk about that in a moment, and this is also what I conveyed to President Obrador when I presented my credentials. I would like us to link up to the agenda, the national agenda of Mexico under the current administration.
Now, Mexico and Israel are definitely friendly countries, and that's why the resolutions against Israel, in which Mexico has voted in favor, baffle many. What do you think about that kind of stumbling block?
Yes, well, it's true, and Prime Minister Netanyahu has said that many times in the past. You expect friendly relations between countries, between nations, to be also portrayed in the way these countries vote at the UN when it comes to Israel and the Palestinian people, for example. Now, I should get the record straight and tell you that yesterday there was a vote at the UN General Assembly in plenary where Mexico abstained. It was on the division that exists in the Secretariat of the UN regarding the Palestinian people. And we are campaigning on this particular resolution and two other resolutions, and we are still waiting for the vote, and hopefully Mexico will abstain again and not vote in favor. We are talking about what is called the Special Committee on the Inalienable Rights of the Palestinian People, and another resolution on investigating human rights violations of Palestinians in the territories by Israel. And we are campaigning against that because we say that it's really anachronistic, it's absurd. Only regarding the Palestinian people has the United Nations set up such mechanisms with budgets, etc. Just last week, there was a panel discussion hosted by the Mexican Foreign Ministry where Deputy Foreign Minister Mrs. Delgado participated in solidarity with the Palestinian people. I don't think this will contribute to a settlement between Israel and the Palestinian people, and this is what I wrote to Mrs. Delgado. So let's wait and see. Hopefully Mexico will abstain, but this is something we would like to discuss with Mexico as it is about to enter the Security Council. And usually we have a dialogue with each and every country that becomes member, even if it's for 2 years, a member of the Security Council. And I have suggested that to the people at the Foreign Ministry, and hopefully it will happen.
Mr. Ambassador, we have had excellent Israeli ambassadors here in Mexico. However, what do you think has not been done so far? Do you have a particular project?
Yes, first of all, indeed, you've had very good ambassadors. If I may just say a word about my predecessor, Jonathan Peled, who has done a marvelous work, and actually I want to pay tribute to his efforts, because as we speak this week in Israel, we have 3 deputy ministers, Mexican ministers, the Deputy Minister of the Economy on Innovation, the Deputy Minister of Health, and the Deputy Minister of Agriculture, all visiting Israel with a great program that was tailor-made for them. And this is thanks to the efforts that Jonathan deployed at the time. His predecessor, Ambassador Rodika Radian Gordon, who was, by the way, my boss before I arrived to Mexico, has also done a wonderful job. And I'm pursuing in what they did. And I try, as I said, to give perhaps another twist. I'm very much in favor of cooperating in the area of sustainable development goals. I'm a big believer in these goals. And I have, again, mentioned it to the President and said that if we can contribute modestly as a small country to the Programa Integral de Desarrollo when it comes to Mexico and Central America, or Sembrando Vida in the southern part of the country, be it on agriculture, on water, forestation, we would be more than happy to do so.
Now Mexico is going through one of the most difficult economic moments in its history. Do you think this affects the projects that may exist between both countries?
Well, I have to be sincere, and decision by the President to have an austeridad, have an austere regime, which makes it difficult for politicians, for high-ranking officials to travel abroad, of course makes things more difficult. Still, we can promote and advance various issues. You have also technology, we can organize video conferences, but we believe that the best is for, in this case, Mexican high-ranking people, decision makers, to come to Israel and to witness by their own eyes what the possibilities and the potential really is. And as I mentioned, we have now those 3 deputy ministers in Israel. I hope that this will enable to develop many joint projects. I myself would hope to open a dialogue between the Israeli Ministry of Health and the Mexican Ministry of Health with so many issues that we can address, including medical cannabis, for example, but not only. They are interested in clinical tests, they are interested in referrals of patients, they are interested in digital files, medical files, and etc., etc., etc. So yes, the fact that there is austeridad, the fact that some ministries lack budgets, for example, when it comes to security issues, border control, the issue of migrants, the issue of organized crime. We have a lot of experience fighting terrorism, and there are many similarities between terrorism and organized crime. And we are ready to share our experience with Mexico. We have said so. Now there was a high-ranking official of the Ministry of Defense who came here, met with the Chief of Staff of the Mexican Army, with Sedena, with the Ministry of Maritime, the Marine. So we would really like to offer this experience we have and Israeli technologies, but they need, of course, budgets. So on the one hand, yes, it makes things difficult, but there are many opportunities. And, you know, I met with someone from the World Bank stationed here. He's in charge of helping the private sector, and he is quite optimistic about the possibilities of a growth in the economy of Mexico in the coming years, provided that they make some reforms, of course, but he's quite optimistic, and I want to share this optimism.
Finally, Mr. Ambassador, what do you think about the Jewish community that you have been able to know a little here in Mexico, unlike other countries in which you have been?
Well, I think I know the Jewish world a bit, at least. I myself, as some of the readers of Enlace might know, I was born in Belgium, so I know the Jewish community of Belgium quite good, and I served in Brussels 2 times. I served in Rome, so I've known the Jewish community of Italy, and recently in France. But I traveled also around because I was in charge of the Jewish diaspora at the Foreign Ministry in Jerusalem for more than 1.5 years. So this community is extraordinary. It's something special, really. Because, yes, of course, in Paris, where you have a Jewish community of 350,000 people, you see also many associations of friends of universities, of hospitals, of whatever, which you have also in Mexico. But beyond that, the commitment of the Mexican Jews, and especially their willingness, their intentions to really be a bridge between Mexico and Israel, this is something peculiar. And I would like also to give homage to the women. This is also something I haven't seen anywhere else. The Federación Femenina and the commitment of young and impressive Jewish ladies in this community, fantastic, extraordinary.
I agree with that. Mr. Ambassador, I wish you a very successful management, and I hope we keep in touch.
Absolutely. Thank you very much. It was a pleasure, and see you soon, I hope.
Thank you.